Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Bar Talk. Today, I'm joined by former Marine and political prisoner, we could call it, Jim.
Yeah, this time last year.
This right next to me is Jamie Michael. Nice to meet you and have one, Jim. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you, bud.
I thought, let's just start off a little bit. Obviously, you've been through some shit the last couple of years, maybe last year. How has things been since that? Just tell us a little bit what happened and how you became to be arrested.
Well, like you said, I've always been kind of politically kind of motivated. I've been interested in politics because I could. I switched my TV off a long time ago, and I gone down a few different rabbit holes, and I could see where all this was going. Like, I mean, if you into the conspiracy world, and all these conspiracies that people talk about, so the people that try and take the piss out of it, but then all these conspiracies end up coming true. You know what I mean? 6 months or a year later, and I've been into it for a long time, but then during COVID, I kind of got into it even more then, because I could see now that these elites then are really trying to put their foot down in literally taking everything away from us. And the agenda, they got depopulation agendas and all that as well. So I really kind of got activated during COVID, and I really kind of went from just posting Facebook posts to actually going to protests and start making videos and stuff like that. So I've been doing it for a while, and then this time last, no, it was a bit earlier than this time last year. It was around July. Obviously, there were things just starting to escalate, like with the kind of civil unrest in the country, and there was a few incidents leading up to the incident with Axel Cabana that I was keeping an eye on. There was an incident with the Manchester airport incident where the two guys beat them coppers up, and then the media tried to portray it that the coppers were well out of order for kicking the guy in the head, but then they didn't. They
didn't release the footage of him punching it. They released the video of the officer kicking him.
So I was voicing my opinion about that. I was also voicing my opinion where there was riots in Leeds, and I mean big riots in Leeds. Can't think of the place now, but that was because a family had children taken away by the CPS, and then it literally kicked off. In the Asian community, it kicked off massive riots in Leeds where they were damaging property, they were burning cars, they were attacking the police, and I just thought none of this is really being covered in the media. It was just being kept hushed up. And then after what happened in Southport with Axel Cabana, when all the riots flared up, there was protests that turned into riots, flared up in Southport, and the media was straight on it away, calling it far right, saying that this was well out of order, and there was no difference to what was happening in the Manchester riots and the ones in Leeds as well. And the unfairness of that, trying to brand us all far right, bloody Nazi lunatics and all this, when exactly the same happened on two occasions just before that, and it was all really downplayed by the media. So I made a video anyway, because like I said, things were escalating. There was gangs, on I know on the Asian side, they were going through in cities up around Manchester, Leeds, Birmingham, and there was big gangs of Asians going around with weapons, and they were looking for people, they were looking for, they called it the EDL or the far right or whatever, and they were looking for people because there had been attacks on mosques and other stuff, so it was a retaliation. And I feared that it was just going to keep escalating, so I just thought, wow, this is going to get dangerous, especially for the children and women and that. So I called on, made a video and called on the community to get a meeting to try and have a chat about everything and try and get some safety in place, and I was just thinking about doing neighbourhood watches, but it's specifically on the schools and parks where the children are going to be, obviously, children going to school. And I just thought after that attack on that dance class by that, maniac, I think that really scared everyone. So I feared, I just wanted to try and get some form of security in place for the schools and the parks specifically. I called on the MPs, the councillors, the politicians, and police to kind of, do something about it, and to get involved with us as well, because this the meeting I called was actually in this club where we are now, and we just wanted to come up with a plan. How can we kind of keep the place safe? And at the time as well, I was asking members of candidates from the Reform Party to come to the meetings as well, so that we could have some form of representation from them as well. Because I knew people were getting locked up for saying stuff on Facebook and as well, so I thought we would try and get do all this properly and try and basically just try and get some safety in place. But then after the meeting, it was about a week after the meeting, because I almost done the second meeting, and then we were gonna probably start approaching the council and stuff to see what they could start doing about it. I was encouraging people to do it the right way. I even said in my video that I didn't want any type of violence or any type of just no violence. You've got to do this the right way by writing letters or approaching the right people, going to the right organisations and saying, look, we need safety in place for the children. But that was taken the wrong way by our local councillors.
So did she know about the meeting because you called for them in to help?
Yeah, because she sent a guy called Ryan Evans who worked for her to do her own little investigation, like to do her own surveillance, and he actually came to the club. I don't know if he actually came in here, but it was said in the police reports that he had come and he had been outside. He'd seen people outside with notepads and stuff like that. But yet he reported me for having terrorist intentions. That's what was doing. And then I was when I was in the police station, my solicitor had said to me, the duty solicitor, that they were looking at terrorism charges and bringing in my partner as well, just because she lived for me. She was guilty by association because she lived for me, and I just thought, I knew then, I just thought this is just a total setup.
Yeah.
So I did get a bit angry, and I said that, excuse my language, but I said, what a load of fucking bullshit. Yeah. I said, this is bullshit. I started saying to him, tell me what I said then. Tell me what I said that was, got
so now the officer
terrorist intentions to the duty solicitor, and he kept saying, I can't tell you because the video that, my video that I was getting done for, they uploaded to this portal and it wouldn't work. So they were going off a transcript then, right? So he couldn't even look at my video, right? He kept saying it was buffering, and this transcript was altered in all sorts of different ways. Even the name of my video was altered. And one specific word that made a big difference was when I said that they caused a riot en masse in Leeds, they changed the word they to I. So it read, I started a riot en masse in Leeds. And then, because the video doesn't work, they're just going off the transcript. I basically admitted starting a riot in there.
So they altered the video for you to say that, or was it just because it was buffering?
The video, but the transcript is my video put into words, and they changed my words. One of the words they changed was they to I. So it read that I started a riot en masse. And when I went with my second solicitor, because I sacked them after a couple of weeks, and then even my second solicitor, so this is like 2 months into it, said he still couldn't view my video, and he didn't have Facebook, so he couldn't look at the video to see what I said, because he questioned me. He said, what do you mean you by I started a riot en masse? I said, I never said that. And he was really surprised. I said, no, I didn't say that. I said, have a look at the video. He said, well, I can't look at it because I haven't got Facebook.
So they took it down off social media as well, did they?
No, it was never taken down, never had one warning, never even had a warning, and I do have warnings for pathetic little things.
Yeah. So why couldn't they go onto your social media to do it?
Well, he said he didn't have social media. He told Facebook. Then he told me that he was gonna go and view his girlfriend's social media. When I phoned him, like, this is 4 weeks later, he said, no, I don't think that's a good idea looking at it through my girlfriend's. I said, well, how are we gonna do this then? You know, I said, you've got to look at that video and you've got to pick it apart.
So what he has to do is watch the
that's
video.
what they're going to do. He said, well, you've told me bits. And he said, and I've seen part of it because I had one of the boys to send in the video, but every time we played it, it went to where we needed to go and we had to start it all over again. So, and we were going through doing the defence statement at the time, so it was just a nightmare. But I was just thinking, why wouldn't he, even if you just downloaded Facebook and just made up a fake profile just to look at my video, but he wouldn't do that. So anyway, I ended up going with the Free Speech Union because I just thought, when I went with the Free Speech Union, they had already viewed my video multiple times. Plus they'd gone down my Facebook and they'd viewed a load of other videos that I'd made as well, just to kind of get a bit of background on me. So yeah, it was a stitch-up operation.
Do you think them solicitors were kind of afraid of what the repercussions could be on them?
I think they were planted specifically. They had a bit of. I think they were trying their best to get you to get that guilty plea. Because I told them from the start. I said, I'm not going guilty. I said I haven't done nothing. And he was saying, well, you know, as people have said similar things to you, are looking at 2 to 4 years and stuff like that. And I said, well, I'm not going guilty. I said, it's a load of rubbish. I said, I was sticking to my guns, and he was saying, look, you know, you could be doing a lot of extra time if you things. So he said, I think you need to think about it now. So I think we should go no plea for now and have a think about it. But then,
So was you willing to do that extra time just because you didn't want to plead guilty?
I knew.
Because it's a blackmail.
I knew that I never said anything racist, and I also knew that it was a stitch-up operation because I was. But you know, theirs was totally different to mine as well. But I knew it was a stitch-up, and no one should be in jail for Facebook posts. No, when they let in a real kind of dangerous criminals early, just for the likes of letting people who had said stuff on Facebook.
And even like I know it's kind of not the same, but like what we was talking about just now, like look at some rappers' lyrics and stuff like that they put out to millions of people, do you know what I mean? Which are literally violence, words of threats, and so what you wrote was all in peace. If you was going to be a terrorist, you wouldn't call on the police and your local councillors to join in with you.
Exactly, yeah.
So how they can come to that conclusion is absolutely bizarre.
When I went into the police station, I'd done my police interview, and they had seen the video. They said, and that's another thing, how come the police see my video but we couldn't? And they said all 3 police officers who viewed my video in the investigation into me in the beginning, they all said there was no criminal intent in there. There was no inciting of racial hatred, and yet it still got pushed through to the Crown Courts. So I don't see the point. Why are they asking police to look at my video if all 3 of them are going to say there was nothing wrong with it, and then still push it through to the court? So again, there was an agenda behind it, and I think we all know now that Keir Starmer tried his best to fast track. Well, my solicitor actually said to me that Keir Starmer's fast tracking all these to Crown Court. And when I said to him, I said, well, how can he do that?
Was that the first solicitor or
this is the duty
free speech, the duty one?
And I said, how can he do that? And I said, this guy, he's the guy that was that didn't found any not enough evidence to convict Jimmy Savile. And I said, some of these grooming gangs. And he stood up for him straight away, saying, oh, Starmer's record was impeccable and all this. And I just looked at him and I just thought, yeah, but what about Jimmy Savile and some of them booming gangs? And that just didn't seem to matter,
So he kind of picked his side.
And he also said, don't make this political. He said, you can't. No, he actually said, Starmer won't like if you make this political. I was thinking, this has nothing to do with Starmer.
Fuck Starmer, isn't it? Starmer's trying to put me in jail. I can be as political as I like.
And then when I went with the Free Speech Union, they were telling me that this is political, and you need to make this is definitely political. So yeah, there's the contrast, like,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
these guys they weren't talking anything. The duty solicitors weren't talking anything about my human rights and free speech at all. They were just like, he actually said to me, if you had said this a couple of months ago, you would have been fine. It would have been different. And I said, well, the laws haven't changed.
Yeah.
So,
That's which is just shows the two-tier system, then, doesn't it?
yeah.
So you spent a total of 17 days. Was it
17 days in jail and 3 days in the police station, so 20 in total.
And they took 17 minutes to.
And in comparison, you've seen the Ricky Jones.
It's
just gone through the courts now, which was delayed for a whole year, but he wasn't remanded and sent to jail at all, whereas everyone else was.
Yeah. And they
And
had.
he really was inciting thing.
We literally said it, and he didn't just say it in words.
Yeah.
He even made a sign across his throat.
Yeah.
So how they can be so openly two-tier is just absolutely bizarre. And there's still people out there, especially the left, who just can't see it, which is even more frustrating. But they only took you 17 minutes to find you
17
not
minutes.
guilty.
And in that time they had to choose the kind of the chief juror, is the guy who stands up who says not guilty or guilty. So they had to choose that, and within that 17 minutes, Anne walked to the room, so they probably only took about 5 minutes. And I think it was done and dusted after they showed my video and they read out my police interview. It was, I felt really confident after that. Plus my barrister for the Free Speech Union, he was like a ninja, like in court. He's brilliant.
Was he?
Yeah, really good. Like, breaking down different words, what they mean, and explaining it to the jury of the exact charge that I'm facing, and what what the words that I said meant. I felt really confident from
Yeah. So when you're sitting in there for them 17 days, what was your kind of mindset when you're sat in, especially not knowing which way it's going to go?
Well,
when it's a stitch up by the government, by the councils, you're very likely to come out of it the
first of all, I was just
worst.
thinking about survival, because there's loads of migrants in jail, loads, and you got to kind of figure it all out then, like, I mean, I've worked with plenty of migrants abroad in my jobs and stuff like that, so I'm quite familiar with them, and I was just keeping myself to myself. But then, as the days went on, I was starting to, because the only things you can do in there is play pool or table tennis or working out when you get your break, half-hour break in the morning, you go outside, association or whatever it's called. And after a couple of days, I was just I was mingling with some of them, playing table tennis. I weren't really on a sit round talk with them or anything, but I was playing table tennis. I didn't want to show them that I was afraid or anything like that. It was, it was a bit disbelief. Obviously, my solicitors then, I was still with the duty solicitors right up until the day before I went to court to make my second plea, and that's when I went not guilty. And it was worrying because I never had any contact with them at all, didn't know what the hell was going on. And I knew I was sticking to my guns, but I just thought, shit, I'm going to stitch up. So I give these solicitors a chance. I went and had a video meeting with them, and I could tell after that, they were just saying, oh, this could be looked at as racist, that could be looked at as racist, and there were memes that I was sharing, and it was just pathetic. There was no way that they were racists. So I was just thinking, and then I had a bit of a rant. I said, look, I said, you're saying that we are creating hate. I said there's been plenty of hate created over the last couple of decades where we've gone to war with these people, that were illegal wars, where we're dropping bombs on them and calling it collateral damage when it's killing their women and children. I said that's what's creating the hate. And he went straight into, I think maybe you're suffering post-traumatic stress and you need to have a mental assessment, and actually telling me that you probably, your time would be much easier in a mental hospital than it would be in jail. And that really kind of scared me then. I thought, wow, I need to get rid of these guys. So I literally sacked them the next day.
So that's kind of trying to ruin your reputation as well, on top of trying to put you away.
Still things are still going on. even though I was found not guilty, yeah, they banned me from coaching my daughter's football team.
Really?
Yeah, even though when I went back first of all, they accepted. They said, look, you're innocent till proven guilty. You can come back and coach the girls. Then 2 weeks later, they said they pulled me in and they said, oh, sorry. That was afterwards. Yeah, no, they made a complaint there. They said someone had made a complaint about me. They didn't think that I should be back coaching, and they said they suspended me then till after the court case. Then after the court case, about a week later, they said that they felt that their decision to ban me from playing football was substantiated, so I'm still banned from coaching football. And I'm fighting the decision to take me to court in the first place as well.
For the original charge? Yeah, I think it's definitely... Was the same lawyers helping you for that as well?
Yeah, the Free Speech Union.
Yeah. So when it was in...
because they felt that I shouldn't have gone to court in the first place.
Yeah, well...
And someone would have had to sign that off, so we are looking that up and seeing who signed it off, saying that it was worthy for going to court. So yeah, but it's a slow process, like, you know, even though this now is taking months. But yeah, we look into...
Have you managed to have a conversation with Buffy? Was it Buffy?
No, I spoke to her. She lived in the streets behind me. We grew up around the same time. We went to the same school. She's a couple of years older than me. You know, I know her.
Yeah.
And you know, I had been criticising her on social media, and that's probably what it was all about.
She just took it personal.
Her and Chris Bryant been criticising them for a long time. You know, about the lack of things they're doing around here, and you know. Yeah, just the lack of what they're doing. Since Labour has taken over here, you know, Britain hasn't, the Wales has been under a Labour government for 20 odd years, and in that 20 odd years it's gone downhill massively. Like, I mean, you can see around here, like the park pools have gone, the leisure centres are cutting back hours, and there's just nothing around here for us. We're down the road, just down 15 miles away down Cardiff, they've got loads of stuff, and I think that's because it's multicultural, multicultural down there. So that they, you know, that's what they're trying to please them. Yeah. And that's up here, we can get back at all, like.
So when you was in the Marines, obviously you're open-minded now, you're awake to most things, and what was your kind of mindset when you was in the Marines? Do you still have the
I was
same thoughts?
I was probably, like, I'd call people sheep. I was one of them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I hadn't woke up to a lot of stuff then. And yeah, I got talked into having these anthrax vaccinations to go into Iraq, and loads of the lads were warning me about, you know, don't have them, they were messing people up in the first Gulf War and all that, and they did, they really did, like loads, they called it the Gulf War syndrome. It's an umbrella of injuries, and they prove it now is caused by this anthrax vaccine. It was given up in the first Gulf War and the second Gulf War. And I just thought, you know, at the time I'm alright, I'm fit, I'll be alright with the vaccine, I won't do nothing. But I'm pretty positive now that's caused me to have the blood cancer.
Is it?
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't think too much about anything then. I was just, young, and I didn't even think much about joining the Marines. I just kind of done that by just walking past the careers office one day and walked in.
Yeah.
After having a lot of disappointments in football, I walked in there, had a good chat with the guy working there, and I got talked into doing a 3-day course. Went on the 3-day course, and I'd done really well, and it kind of gave me a bit of a confidence boost, because my confidence had been knocked through having a lot of knocks in football. And after coming back from 3 days, I felt good about it, and I just decided to sign up for the full.
For was it 4 years?
Minimum 4 years. Yeah, you actually sign up for 22 years, but you got to do 4 years, and then you can come out.
Is it?
So that's I basically just done the minimum time.
Yeah. Well, was there a certain point where you can remember which you started, you know, thinking things ain't right?
Yeah, a lot of you know, when we were going to, like, specifically with them vaccines, and we were finding out that most of the medical staff and the people who were pressuring them into taking them vaccines didn't have them themselves. Yeah. And we went and questioned it on the way home from Iraq. I wanted to, because I was, you know, I was a little bit ill after having a vaccine, and I questioned it when I come back, and they told me this isn't the place to talk about that. when we were in Iraq, then we were going over there. You know, we were facing a chemical threat, and all our respirators were like way out of date, and the canisters on the respirators, they were like 10, 20 years out of date. And
So
every
not
time
just
the
a couple of
media
months.
came around, they told us to you be quiet and you tell the media that you've got everything you need, and this is what we were told. We couldn't say anything to the media. And yeah, I was just thinking, bloody hell, because we were sat in a desert in Kuwait for about six to 8 weeks before we went in, you know, close enough to launch an attack on us. And then we were sat there with equipment that didn't work, like, you know, and we were there because he said that Saddam was a threat of you know, nuclear bombs and chemical attacks and all that, and yet we were there without insufficient kits.
It's a guaranteed death if it does happen.
About it, like,
it's just absolutely bonkers.
You know, and we'd have alarms going off on the camp there, and you'd have to just get in your tent with your respirators on. Well, these things didn't work, like, you know what I mean? It was. I just thought, wow, this is crazy. Like, you're gonna war, you want all the like.
Well, yeah. Especially if there's a threat, and you just sat there thinking, if it does happen, then you know it's a guaranteed death because my equipment doesn't work.
Yeah.
So when it come out, you had a different mindset.
Not straight away. I think when I ended up going back and doing a bit of like security over there, all the bodyguard and stuff in Iraq and Afghan, and that's when I got on the internet for the first time, because you had to kind of do everything through emails, and I didn't have a clue. I'd never even had a laptop before, so I had to kind of learn how to use a laptop and start using emails. And then when I got to Iraq, we had a lot of spare time sitting around, so I'd get on the internet and start looking into different things, and I started coming across, you know, stuff about all the corruption and all that, this kind of deep state that runs the world in the shadows. These are the people who, you know, who run our governments, and our governments, you know, the people who run our governments are just puppets. Learning all this, and then realising, that, you know, the war in Iraq was based on a bunch of lies, to control we were there to control their oil, like, and that's what it was all about. Same in Afghan, again, another false flag attack to get us into a war. You know, obviously I don't believe that, well, there was no one from Afghanistan at all that done the attack on you know, on them buildings on 9/11. Bin Laden and the hijackers were from Saudi. Why did we go into Afghan again? In my opinion, it was over oil. Putting oil pipelines in there and securing them poppy fields so that they can drug the world. Like, I mean, because I think it was 10 times the amount of heroin came out of the Afghanistan after we actually went there. And you know, it's not just the heroin. The poppies, the power these pharmaceutical companies with all their painkillers, all the codeine stuff. And just start learning about all that, and then you just start thinking, wow, this, you know, how many lies we've been told, and you find out more lies, and then, you know, find out that these people are not getting held accountable as well. Like, you know, Tony Blair, there was a Labour Party at the time when we went into Iraq. You know, he sent us to war based on a bunch of lies which cost millions of lives. You know, most of them being Iraqis, and then nothing happens to them. Nothing happens to them. Nothing ever happens to these people who are taking us to war based on a pack of lies, and there's no accountability. And you know, these people now, Tony Blair, he's part of the World Economic Forum, and he's still calling the shots from in the shadows. You know, talking about vaccine passports, talking about digital IDs and all this kind of stuff. You know, to me, he is probably Starmer's puppet in the Starmer's his puppet, like, I mean, in the World Economic Forum, and he's a puppet for someone else. And there's different levels to all this.
You know, when you briefed over earlier on about, well, everything that you was posting was about non-violence, everything was in peace. Do you think you realised they want violence, they want civil unrest, so that's when they can start bringing in the digital IDs?
So they've always got an agenda now, and then they strategies and our problem, reaction, solution. So during COVID, COVID, these elites, whoever it was, put COVID into the population. I believe COVID was real as well, because a lot of conspiracy theorists don't believe COVID was real.
Oh yeah, it was definitely.
I believe it was real.
Wasn't it?
I believe it was put into the water supply, so they give you a problem, then you get you a reaction, because what they do then, they up all the fear, they put in death counts on the TV, then they label in every death COVID death, all through using a fake PCR test, which isn't meant to diagnose any disease. So they're using a fake test to tell you that everyone's catching COVID, everyone's
silencing anyone,
and
any
then
doctor
they
saying
presented the
opposite.
solution. Right, so with what's happening right now, they're giving us a problem where they flood in, and these globalists are behind this, are flooding our countries and the West with unchecked migrants. Lots of these people are coming out of foreign jails and nut houses and stuff like that, so we're getting a lot of dangerous people. I'm not saying all of them are, because I know a lot of them are coming here for a better life, and they're probably really nice people, but there only needs to be a small percentage of these real dangerous people, and then we got big problems, like, I mean, where they could be doing terrorist attacks or attacking children, women. So they're giving us that problem. Then they want you then to call for answers from the government, and their answer in this situation is going to be a digital ID, which is what they always wanted to bring in anyway. But they know people won't accept it, so they need to give you a problem so that you are asking for the answer, and they're going to say, look, this is the answer. A digital ID, and this digital ID is going to be a digital prison. That's the first stepping stone in that direction, like towards a social credit system, digital currencies that'll have all sorts of applications attached to them, with your carbon credits, your carbon credits, and your vaccine passports and all this kind of stuff. Like, I mean,
kind of like China. China have already implemented quite a few of them. What was I going to say? So everyone coming over as well, you can see videos and photos, and the boats are just full of middle-aged men. There's no women or children on these boats.
And like 90% men, probably.
Yeah, and like you said, we went into these wars and caused them to hate us. So when they're coming over as well.
Well, when you look into the conspiracy world, right, which, like I said, pretty much all these conspiracies are true, okay? They've just trained us to think that these people are nuts and they're making these stories up. And the term conspiracy theorist was kind of invented after the JFK assassination to make anyone who wasn't buying the kind of the story that they were putting out, making out to be nuts, right? So I can't remember what I was saying. What was the question?
Obviously we've gone to war with them, gone into their country, so now they're coming over here.
So apparently there was a plan to destabilise the Middle East, right? Starting with 9/11, and then going into lots of different Middle Eastern countries like Afghanistan, Libya. Libya's North Africa, but Syria and places like that, and creating then through war, right, creating migrant crisis. And then they know that all the other Arab countries won't take any of these migrants in, because they know a lot of them are, not good people that will probably cause a lot of trouble. So where they're going to go, if they're not going into the Arab states, their neighbours, they're going to come into the West. And that's what's happening now, like, I mean, so there was a plan, it's been a long time plan, You look at it was out last week that Keir Starmer was part of the team that wrote up the handbook on the EHER, the kind of the human rights thing that this is why we can't deport these people who are raping.
He made it illegal, did he? Did I read the other day he actually made it illegal to be able to deport?
If they get deported, then they could face death penalties and stuff in their own country. Well, they're literally killing people and raping people in this country, and then they're not getting sent back home for pathetic excuses. I mean, I read there was one the other day. There was said they couldn't send him back because his son didn't like chicken nuggets.
That's the one. Yeah. Couldn't think in my head then.
There was ones where it would ruin this guy's career of being a poet. You can't write this stuff. And another rapist saying he wanted to be a role model for his son. All these excuses. And these are people who've actually been. We're not saying all of them are rapists. These are people who've actually been
convicted or caught rape anything, and then they still not getting deported.
They're not getting deported, yeah, because I think the countries won't accept them back as well. I'm pretty sure Pakistan doesn't want to take some of these people
Dubai
back.
wouldn't they? Anybody?
Yeah.
But people are waking up, Jim, and you went to the Tommy Robinson march last week.
Yeah.
They estimated over 1 million, possibly up to 3 million.
Yeah,
the numbers are very all over the place at the minute, aren't they?
I think it was 3 million. I went to a COVID march, and in my opinion, that was why the COVID lockdowns it got relaxed, because there was about 2.5 million people there one day.
Was it?
And that on the weekend, Tommy Robinson's felt bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By a
It's
lot.
amazing. You could just a sea of bodies in every street as far as you can see. Everywhere.
If you can see the videos with the
And there was no trouble. It was well behaved everywhere. I didn't see any trouble at all. But same as they done in COVID and Brexit marches. Okay, they kind of lead a certain part of the crowd down certain streets, and then they clash them when they come to protests. Let them get close enough so they're grabbing each other's flags and throwing punches. Then the police step in, and then all of a sudden they got a news story.
Yeah.
It's all done on purpose. These are tactics that have been used for a long time.
I seen that there was 20 arrests, and I was told that something like 7 of them was from the opposite side as well.
There was 26 arrests, but it was only 8 for Tommy Robinson that were there for Tommy
Right,
Robinson.
yeah.
The majority, and if you can compare that to the Notting Hill Carnival,
Exactly, yeah.
there was 280 odd arrests, and so many sexual assaults, so many drugs, so many weapons.
Yeah.
And these things are quickly brushed under the carpet and they're not talked about. Whereas the Tommy Robinson thing, they want to sensationalise it.
Yeah. Everyone's far right.
Yeah.
Far right in that cases.
They say they're nearly all male when there was loads of women there, and there was lots of black and brown people there as well.
Yeah.
And they trying to say it's all white supremacists waving their flags and all this just rubbish. And saying it was 100,000 there as a joke. Like I said, in my videos in the week, I'm glad they say it's 100,000, because it just proves to people then that they're lying about it.
Yeah. Because people can see by the videos that it's well over 100,000.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how did it make you feel when you was up there?
Good, but
Do you feel like you're on that turning point?
Yeah. It does just that togetherness, and that kind of, you're all there for the same reason, and you're all there patriotic. You care about your communities, your culture, your future, your children, and this, that amount of people all together at once, and then you're listening to the speakers and they all talking the same thing, and you got really, some really significant people there talking. You got the Polish Prime Minister, you got Elon Musk, you got Ant Middleton, and loads of others, and it just it just gives you that feeling of hope and love. It just that you are there to prevent your culture from being eroded and taken away from you and replaced with something else. It just makes you think that we are starting to wake up. We are starting to take action. And I don't not taking action doesn't mean going out there and starting fights and riots and that. That's not the type of action. Talking about coming together in big numbers and voicing your opinions and making a statement. It was a big statement there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like you said, as soon as you give them the violence and the unrest, and that's you're just playing into their hands.
It's exactly what they want, because they'll try and say, and is even more reason for this digital ID and this Big Brother kind of life they want us to live. There's cameras everywhere. And they're not going to stop just having cameras on the streets. I'm telling you, they're going to be watching you in your own homes before long. Right, they already are through smart TVs and your phones and stuff like that. But these things will be kind of brought into law, and they do it gradually, like boil the frog kind of thing. So you don't know. You don't really see it happening because it's happening so slow, but they add little bits all the time, take little bits away from it.
Just take a little bit to your freedom, and then we beat them bugs as what's the guy
Bill Gates
and Klaus Schwab. That's evil people, but they're evil people. So I just want to brief over on Charlie Kirk as well. There's some very, very suspicious activity going on around that murder.
Yeah.
Have you seen any much about that?
I have, but I looked at a lot of stuff. Yeah. I think it was a professional hit, and I do think he's dead. I don't think it was a clone. I don't think it was a clone or a hologram, as some people are saying. I've seen some mad videos, mind. I've seen some mad videos that could possibly make you think these things, but nah. I've seen it from a lot of different angles. He was taken out with one shot. He was a moving target. He'd only just got up from picking a microphone up, whatever. That was a professional hit, and this guy who they've got for it is not the guy.
No.
Not the guy. Same with the Trump and JFK assassinations. They're called patsies. They set him up to take the blame, and there's loads of different things going to be coming out. Candace Owens, she's on the case because she was very close to Charlie.
She's going deep. She's looking. I've been watching them on my own from work.
He had criticised Israel recently. He talked about the Epstein files and that there was a Mossad operation, which is obviously the intelligence services in Israel. And Israel is behind a lot of the bad stuff in the world.
And within 48 hours he was shot, he was murdered. It was only 48 hours before that when he was talking about Israel.
Yeah. And I watched an interview last night where Bibi Netanyahu asked him to come to thing, and he had turned that down as well, because I think he felt, he didn't feel safe doing that. So I think, I don't think it's just Israel, but I think it is part Israel by the looks of it, from what I can see so far.
Yeah, they're involved in a lot of where they control everything, whether people want to believe it or not. The
9/11 was a lot to do with them.
The deeper you go into it, they literally
9/11 was loads of different things. Like obviously what happened on October the 7th in Israel was it was disgusting, and I'm not saying they deserve what they're having now and thing, because it's ridiculous, so they can't just keep carpet bombing them. There's so many kids in that thing, but Palestine need to sort out Hamas. They need to get Hamas out of there, and I don't know how they do it, because they're governed by fear again. People who stand up against them just get killed. They're ruthless. And it's a shame, because it's costing so many lives, but they both got problems. Netanyahu, in my opinion, is totally corrupt, and he needs out of there. But that doesn't mean the Israeli people are. I don't think all the Palestinians are, but they've been brainwashed by this Hamas, and if they don't follow suit, they're ruthless. They're killing people. So that, to me, on both sides, I don't know. I wouldn't like to say who's at fault really there, because I believe there's corruption on both sides, but there's I know Israel have done some real bad stuff. So.
Just like I said, they're at the forefront of everything. So just start getting deeper. There's a lot of Jewish people run, and I don't think they're actually Jewish. I think they're just evil people. Yeah. And under the
no, I don't think it's all the Jewish people. I think a lot of Jewish people are good people. But there's a portion of people from this country and other countries, and they're bad. They're ruthless, and they carry out a lot of bad things that we see in the world. But I wouldn't I wouldn't tar them all with the same brush, because I know there's a lot of good Jewish people out there.
Yeah. Before we finish off, do you want to just give a shout out to what you do down here and everything, what you've got running?
I do sports massage, which is type of massage which is fixing injuries, all sorts of injuries, back injuries, leg injuries, just fixing people up with that. And I also do oxygen therapy, and that's got lots of different benefits, apart from breathing difficulties. It helps with pain. It can help with arthritis, fibromyalgia. It can help with mental health as well, anxiety and brain fog. It's great for sleep, lots of different things like that. And I also sell a range of supplements. I sell CBD, lion's mane, and shilajit, and a few different kind of forms of CBD. So it's cooling gel and gummies, and I'm building on that to kind of build my selection up a bit more. So I'll be hopefully getting a few more different supplements in soon.
Oh man, thank you very much, Jim. Can we finish off? We've got something positive to say. You're a positive man. You're going to know a lot about the world.
I made a video this week and I said that I think we are going to be facing some tough times in the short term, but I think once we get through that short period of time, I'm not sure how long it's going to go on for. I think it's going to go on for a couple of years, but after that I think we're going to be living in a whole new different world, a world that no one could even dream of. There's a lot. I'm a big supporter of Trump, and I think he's trying to take down these bad people in the world, and I think once that happens we're going to be living in the world that I've been fighting for as well, just because it's these people that are holding us back. We don't realise what they've been doing to us and the lives that we could all be living, because they've rigged the system, and all the money is going to them. Everything is going to them. Like 95% of the money is with 1 or 5% of the population. So I think things are going to be a lot fairer in the future, but I believe we have to fight for it, which this is why I'm trying to wake everyone up as much as I can, so that we make a stand against it. Because if we don't, we're just going to keep going along with their plans and falling into these traps, and things are just going to get worse and worse, and we'll end up in a like I say, a digital prison, in my opinion. But if we fight in the right way, we're gonna see a whole new world, and it's going to be unbelievable, in my opinion, with all sorts of new different technologies, and the wealth is going to be spread a lot more equally amongst the whole population, and that's something I'm really looking forward to. But I think in the short term, I think we're going to go through a lot of events, and it's going to wake even more people up, and but it's going to be good come out of it in the end. I'm confident of that, and I just don't know how long this is going to take. I think it's going to be a couple of years at least.
Amen. Bring Jesus Christ back, brother. Thank you very much, Jim.
And turn to God, guys. I was just explaining to John earlier, I've always prayed all my life, but I've started going to church a bit lately, and I've wanted to start going for a long time, but God is real, guys. God is real 100%, and Jesus, and I think we all need to start bringing back these values into our life, because I think that's why all this bad stuff is happening to us, because lots of us have forgotten about God. And I'd like to see a lot more people going to church and realizing the power of worshipping God.
Absolutely. Jim, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and maybe we'll do a part 2 on the next things that come up again.
Top man.
Top man. Cheers, Jim.